The study of general animal features reveals the evolutionary trend in almost each structure and function. A gradual improvement is noticeable from the lower towards the higher animals, and this can be very evident in case of the body cavity. Certain animals like the flatworms, they have no cavity in the body except that in the digestive tract. Such animals are known as the acoelomates. A means without, whereas coilus means hollow, and in between it is this hollow space which is known as, at times it is hollow, and that's why it is in case of these acoelomates, the flatworms, it is hollow, and that's why these organisms are acoelomates. Whereas in other organisms we see an additional fluid which is filled in this hollow cavity, and that fluid is known as the coelomic fluid. The function of this coelomic fluid is important as well as its origin. The coelom separates the gut muscles from the body wall muscles, and this allows the gut to move independent of the body wall. Like the digestive system, it can move independent of the body wall. The coelom allows the internal organs to grow, and the fluid in the coelom is known as the coelomic fluid. The function of this coelomic fluid is to help in the process of circulatory system, in case of transporting food and gases, even waste materials all around the body. Other than that, the coelom provides space for the development of true circulatory system. The same coelom, it acts as a cushion for the organs and also helps in preventing internal injury. It is also helpful in forming the like it also forms the hydroskeleton. Hydroskeleton, it means the in case of some invertebrate, it forms the outer body structure, the skeletal system of some of the organisms which are invertebrates. For them it is very important. The coelomic fluid is secreted basically by the mesothelium or the peritoneum. Now, it is developing from the mesodermal epithelial layer, and in case of lower organisms, it is known as mesothelium, whereas in higher organisms, in case of vertebrates, the same mesothelium, it is completely developed and it is known as peritoneum. Now, in case of the second category of organisms, that is the pseudocoelomates, the organisms are basically the roundworms, and the body cavity is not lined by the mesothelium in case of roundworms, and that's why it is known as pseudo means false and coelom, so pseudocoelom or false coelom, and the organisms are known as the pseudocoelomates. Next, or the most advanced category, is of the eucoelomates or the coelomates. Eu means eucoelomates have the presence of true coelom, and eucoelomates are basically the annelids or echinoderms or the chordates like us. In annelids, arthropods or the mollusks, we see that the coelom arises as a split in the mesoderm sheet and is known as caesocoelom. Whereas now it just arises with a split, and that's why if I want to draw the structure, it looks somewhat like this. Suppose this is the ectoderm. Okay, endoderm will be inside. Now we will be discussing about the mesoderm. In case of the caesocoelomates, the coelom is arising as a split. Like suppose here the mesoderm is there. The way you can see this kind of structure you will see in case of mesoderm for the caesocoelomates. Whereas in echinoderms, the coelom arises as an outgrowth from the inside cavity or the endoderm. So when it is arising as an outgrowth from the inside cavity, it is looking as if it is pinching off, or it is just pinching off from the inside endoderm and is enlarging unless it squeezes out from the coelom, and such a coelom is known as enterocoelom. These animals having caesocoelom or enterocoelom are together called as enterocoela or caesocoela. So this is just the advanced form of, or how the advancement is taking place in case of organisms. Caesocoelom, we understood the way this structure is looking in the diagram, whereas in case of enterocoelom, the structure will be almost the same. Just you have to imagine that this entire portion will be filled with the cavity which is arising from the inside part, that is the endoderm. So I hope it is understood now. What is the importance of this cavity? It is acting as a cushion, it is helping in transportation, it is protecting the internal organs, and it is also giving space for the movement of the gut portion of the organisms. Next, just the same diagram in a little concised way. You can see the diagram and try to understand. This is the coelomate. For the case of true coelom, we can see the example of enterocela or enterocoelom being formed in the organism. The same structure with the combination of both the forms along with the increasing level of complexity. The diploblastic organisms are acoelomates who do not have presence of coelom. You can see the gut portion, it is darkened, there is no hollow space which is filled with any cavity, whereas in case of triploblastic acoelomates like the Platyhelminthes, we see that all the three layers are present. Similarly, we are increasing as we are moving down. In case of chordates, we have triploblastic, but they are coelomates. They are not acoelomates. They have the presence of coelom, and that too, the coelom is of two types. One is caesocoelom, where the coelom is splitting from the mesoderm or mesothelium, whereas in case of enterocoelom or enterocele, we see that the organism's interior part or the entire vacant space other than the ectoderm is filled with the same mesodermal tissue which is arising. So that is the case of enterocoelom or enterocela. Whereas there is one more category like the arthropods and the mollusks. They have the presence of true coelom, and this true coelom is reduced, and the blood fills the spaces between the viscera. Such body cavity is known as hemocoel. So that is special categorization only for the arthropods and the mollusk. It is hemocoel. Now about the body plan. All the organisms, they have a certain body plan, how they can be divided. We have already discussed about the symmetry of the organisms. Now the plane by which we can cut them. First is a vertical plane. The If we see the organism in a dorsoventral condition, we can cut the entire body of the organism from mouth till the tail vertically, and this is known as vertical section, which divides the entire organism in sagittal plane. So the entire organism will be getting divided into half from the mouth till the back, and this is bilateral symmetry. So you can see the sagittal plane, the green structure which is visible. This is the sagittal plane. So I hope you can understand how we are dividing an organism vertically. So suppose from your head till your toe, if you are cut into equal halves, that is the vertical plane of symmetry. Next is the transverse plane. It passes dorsoventrally at right angles to the longitudinal or anteroposterior axis. Anteroposterior axis, it means from mouth to tail. And if a cut is done in that way, we get the transverse section. It extends from the extreme left till the right of the organism. You can see the pink structure, that is the transverse section. So in this section, if the organism is cut, it is the transverse section. Next is the horizontal plane or the frontal plane also. So it passes along the length of the perpendicular to the dorsoventral body axis of the organism, and it cuts the organism in frontal section or frontal plane. Why is this important? For us, the portion which is most important is the transverse section, because whenever we see any organ or any diagram in case of taxonomy, or in case of not only taxonomy, in case of physiology, if you see the section of heart, you will see that VS section is written, TS is written, or VS is written. So these sections are cut according to the plane which is shown over here. All the transverse section, suppose a heart is to be cut, so how will the heart be cut? In transverse section, again we will be cutting it in this way, and continuously if we go on, we have certain devices by which we can cut. And when we have the thinnest section, those thinnest section can be seen underneath the microscope in order to figure out that what kind of tissue arrangement is there within the cell. So this is just little idea what we should have. Other than that, dorsal and ventral. Dorsal is the back portion. Ventral, in case of human beings, dorsal is the frontal section, your face part, your head, back part where you put the, your back side is the ventral portion. Anterior side where mouth is there, posterior side where tail is there in case of animals. And similarly, here also the same plane is to be shown in two different ways, like dorsal and ventral surface, anterior, posterior, mid-sagittal plane, and transverse section. I hope with these diagrams you can very well correlate and understand how we are going to differentiate different organisms or cut them into different portions. We are not going to cut them, but you should have an idea that how to cut them. Next is about the segmentation. In case of chordates or in case of higher organisms, we do not study more about segmentation. But in case of low organisms, segmentation means dividing the entire organism, or it refers to the linear repetition of parts in an animal body. It occurs in case of annelids, arthropods, and in case of chordates as well. Each segment is known as a metamer or a somite. Segmentation, it often occurs between both internal as well as the external structures, like in case of earthworm, you will see that the segmentation is visible outside as well as inside, whereas in case of chordates the segmentation is apparent only in the embryonic stage when the embryonic development is taking place, whereas in the adult chordate segmentation is visible in the internal structures only, such as the vertebra you can see, or ribs, or even in case of nerves and blood vessels you will be able to find the segmentation, whereas some other organisms there will be no sign of segmentation in their body at all, so they are completely unsegmented. Now second important thing is about, this is when we are talking about the annelids, it is metameric segmentation, whereas in case of pseudo segmentation, pseudo means false, so segmentation is there but it is only present outside the body or the external portion of the body, like in case of tapeworms. The tapeworm's body, it consists of rows of units of proglottids. If you remember the structure, proglottid will be there. The proglottids, they are budded off from the neck as the worm grows and are not of like embryonic origin. Such segmentation is known as pseudometamerism or false segmentation. So the difference between metameric and pseudometameric segmentation is this. We can have just a little idea. Metamerism is a true body segmentation, whereas pseudometamerism is false segmentation. It is superficial. Segmentation is visible both when the body is divided internally and externally, whereas segmentation is only seen externally in case of pseudometamerism because it is false segmentation. Pseudo means false. Metamerism, in segments are fused and cannot be separated on will. In case of earthworm or any organism, you cannot separate the segments. whereas the segments are loosely bound and can be separated at our will in case of pseudometamerism, like the tapeworms. Proglottids, they all grow and they become glotted and they like pinch off from the body of the organism, and they are the disease causing area, or in case of various diseases caused by this pig meat, it is because of the same. Most distinctive in annelids and also seen in arthropods and chordates. But chordates, it's only internal, not external. Sometimes it's external as well, but internally it is well differentiated. Whereas pseudometabolism, it is seen in the case of tapeworms only. Now, these are some of the topics which I feel is important for you all to know. Other than this, also there are various other aspects like the sex, how is it determined, or how does the brain formation takes place. But since we are just going to discuss some of the portions, so we will go in this much details only.